everyone, welcome back to HT Monaro Build. What I'm doing today is I'm having a look at my old bench grinder. I wanted to do some polishing and I was going to buy a polisher, metal polisher, but the decent ones are about between $280 and sort of $400 plus. I thought, well, that's a fair bit of money considering I'm only going to probably use it the once. So I got this old girl and went on to the good old interweb and I found you can buy these spindles. So what I'm doing is probably just going to pull these off, measure the thread pitch on the end of this here, and then get the spindle to match that. That'll match that, and hopefully that'll be standard. And yeah, we'll just buy a couple of buffing wheels, save me a few bucks. So I think that'll work fine. This is what come off it. So I had a bit of a score today. I went and grabbed a wheel. Got this hole there. Rolled that in there. And cut some bits of metal. I'll sort of put them on there somehow like this. Yeah, whatever, I'll weld it together. That'll go there, that'll go there. And then that's for my bench grinder, which is upside down over here because I just dropped it. And a bit of a score because in here I've got a couple of bits and pieces. I've got spindles that'll go over them and a sisal and a buffing wheel, and I've already got the, I think it's over here. Yeah, I've already got the polishing compound, these two, so it's pretty stoked because this means I can get started on polishing the metal and get all that done. So, pretty happy with that today. G'day everyone, welcome back to HT Monaro Build. Today what I decided to tackle was just making that stand for the buffer. So what I did is I went down to the tyre shop yesterday, gave me this rim for nothing. I had a couple of old bearing races, so I've just welded this bearing race. Don't laugh at my welding, it will hold. It might not look pretty, well I hope it holds. And then what I've done is got this pole. Put a bearing race on that. That happens to just slide straight into there because it was not a good fit. And and the plan is to just weld that in. I'll do that now and show the finished product. Well, maybe I won't. Maybe it won't be pretty. Anyway, we'll get to it. Yeah, everyone, some more goodies arrived. We'll finish off the badges because the old Monaro badges arrived, so I'll knock those pins off, do what I've done with the others. Bumper bolts, so I'll be able to put the bumpers on it. I've got brand new bumpers. I want to give this a bit of a polish because I don't know if you can really tell, but it's not that shiny. So finish the grinder, put the bolts in, or polish it. So put the bolts in, so should be able to get all this done. Happy days. Welcome back everyone. So I wanted to give me a little buffer go for this Holden badge, and pitting is quite bad. I'm out here to show you the pitting, and what you might be able to see just here, right about there, is that on the buffer it's taken whatever little chrome was there, taken it away. So I think that needs to go into the pile for re-chroming. Anyway, happy with the buffer. We'll get it re-chromed. I'll just show you the buffer. Here's here. Yeah, it seems to go well. I'll do a full segment on buffing and that. Anyway, we'll follow that up another day. Okay, g'day everyone. Well, these are the stainless trims I was telling you about. I'm at the back here to try and show you how they are. These are the ones I had polished, paid $1,400, and just a real disappointment. I'm not sure if you can see any of those marks at all, but basically all the way through the whole thing is scratch marks and fine scratches. So it's not even, it needs more than just a buff. It actually needs sanding and all that sort of stuff with the wet and dry. So I'll get a start on this one now. I'll have to start with it, probably start with about a 600 grade, 600 grit, and work my way up to an 800, and then 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, and finally up to a 2,000 grit, wet and grade. And then once I finish doing that, it'll be onto the buffer wheel with the sizel first, with the grey polish, and then a final final polish with the green polish on the wheels. So I just want to get this boot and this one's the eyebrow, well not the eyebrow, the bonnet mould, but I just want to get the bonnet mould and the eyebrow moulds and the boot mould on, just so that's finished, because I don't want to finish, sorry, because I don't want to lose the clips. I had one fall off the bonnet already, so they're all sitting there waiting. So we'll get this on, and then that's another job done, or half done. Alright guys, I'll get into it. I'll show you how we go. So I've got in my hand the boot mould. I just wanted to point out some of the damage that you're sort of putting up with. Just see right on the very end there, the last 10 mil is flattened out. Now I've never done metal repairs, and I'm a bit concerned about taking them on, to be honest. But that one there doesn't look like it'll be too hard. He's had a go at it. It's got scratches there, but I mean that's the sort of stuff you're gonna put up with. Not sure whether to have a go at it or just put it on. I don't want to make it worse, you know what I mean? Anyway, I've got some work to do. So the trick here is to have a look at your trims in the sun, have a look at the worst of the scratches, and then start with as least a grit as you can, and then just sand it up and then go to the next level. So what I've done here, started on a 360 grit, and then I'll move up to a 400, then I've got a 600 here. From a 600 I'd like to go to an 800, but I've only got, what have I got, 600, 600, 12, I've got a 1200, so it's a pretty big jump. and then 1200 straight to 2000, so I might need to go down to the big green shed and get some more. Might need to step it up between 600 and 1200 and also 1200 to 1500. But I can even see some of these scratches still. It's a bit hard for you to see with the, obviously with the no light, but I'm going to grab a deck chair and I'm just going to go and sit in the sun and spend the morning just working these and slowly step up. I'll take you for the ride. Cheers. So you just keep going along until the worst of the scratches are out. Like I've noticed here, there's some dents. So I'm just going to get some 240 grit. That's about as coarse as I've got. Just pisses me off because I paid $1,400 for some bloke to. It was my fault, I didn't do my research, I just found him on Facebook. But you know, when you say to a bloke, oh, you know what you're doing? Yeah, I know what I'm doing, yeah, mate. You know, panel beater, know what I'm doing. And I should have checked them properly. I was in a rush when I picked them up. Shouldn't have given him the money, it's as simple as that. So, anyway, you're probably not going to be able to see it. There's a reasonable sort of a dent and scratch there. It might even need filing. So we'll just keep going until you can't see it anymore. Just on that one area, there's no need to overdo it. Pretty clear to me that that guy did not do any of this, because otherwise you wouldn't see these marks. Anyway, I'll do it. And that is as far as I need to go on that. So I've gone over it with the 240. Got to go back to 240. I thought I was going to start at 600, but some of the marks in there were that bad, it just had to go to 240. So next step up is the 360. I've got some 400 there, although I don't know whether it'd be worth going over it with 400. We might just go straight to 600 after the 360. There were some marks in there, some decent marks there. That I had to go heavier again. I only had a little piece, so I couldn't read what it was, but it was quite coarse, and then I had to really spend some time on it with the 240. It might have been 120, I think. So I've done that. I've got all the marks out as far as the bigger ones. So now it's just slowly work backwards, bit by bit at a time. Got my knee here in the sun, so I can just see exactly what's going on. So onto the 360 now. In the sun it's great, you can just see every mark just evaporating or disappearing. It's a good one. It's just time consuming. I'll probably just probably do one a day or something. Do my head in trying to do too many at once. If you do one a day, you'll be right. Right, everyone, it's coming along pretty good. I'm on to the 600 now. Seems to be getting quicker and quicker now that I've got those first few marks out that I wasn't happy, but now it's just getting rid of these scratches little bit by little bit. So onto the 600, we'll get onto it. So onto the 1200 now. So I've jumped from 600 to 1200, so this might not work very well. Might have to go and get that 800 that I was talking about. See how it goes. So it's just a matter of keeping on going over it until eventually we're on the wheel, on the machine, on the buffer. Coming up pretty good. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. I jumped from the 1200 to the 2000, which was a pretty big jump. I'm not sure how there's a few little marks, but every time you sort of wipe them, they move and go somewhere else, sort of thing. So I'd say that's about as good as I'm going to get with the wet and dry. Might be time to get the old sizel out and give it a polish and a final buff. So let's go and have a look at that. Always wear your gloves and your safety glasses. Right, now this pad seems really firm, so I'm just going to turn on for a bit and try and get a bit lower polish on the pad. Alright, yeah, not sure why it's doing that, but there's a fair bit of polish on that, so I guess if we just go gently, see how it turns out. It's come up really good. Pretty pleased with that. Alright, I'm just gonna military drag. Give it a polish up and see how it looks. See if it's ready for the buffer. Might just go over it again. So it looks good, but just to make sure we're doing each step properly. Looking pretty good. Get it on the buffer now and see what happens when we do that. Give it a polish up. the car for a look. Looking good, I reckon. Probably just get the rubber mallet and try to straighten it up just a little bit, but all these clips are in, even that one then, it doesn't look like it, but it is. Maybe when I move it over, I'll do that now. Maybe when I move it over, it'll, what do you call it? Just sit a little bit closer on that side, but anyway, it's a pretty good fit. What do we got here? A little rubber mallet, trying not to damage anything. Perfect. Right everyone, put the mouldings on, and I'm just finishing off putting the securing screw into this up here, and we call it a done thing. G'day everyone, so just to wrap this episode up, I had put the moulds on, and you can see this one I bought from Rare Spares. Stupid me, you'll be able to see that. Hit it with a mallet to try and get it in there, get it fitted on the clips, and of course put a bit of a dent in it, didn't I? So I got out the old ones and I found they were in pretty good nick. There was a couple of little marks on them, but all in all they were pretty good. So I spent the afternoon sanding them, Geez, it's a slow job. You won't be able to see much, of course, with that light, but it's a slow job. But look, at the end of the day, I'm happy with the final finish. I reckon the Holden lettering with the stainless trim looks mint, and I think we're going to stick with that. I'm happy with that. So that's going to wrap up this episode. Badges and trims, and sorry, the trim and the and getting the buffer ready. So that's going to wrap up this episode. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next episode. I think we're going to get into some mechanical work in the steering and front suspension next episode. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.